Despite the success of Red Dead Redemption 2, Red Dead Online has really been struggling to find a foothold with fans. After a launch plagued with bugs and disconnects, we did see a glimmer of hope with one of the main updates, but it does seem to have been misstep after misstep since. Rockstar Games is notoriously bad for communicating with its customers, so in this video we're going to analyse the data that we do have access to determine, is Red Dead Online dying? These videos take a huge amount of time and effort to make, so I am grateful for the sponsor of this video, who is Ridge Wallet. I've been using the Ridge Wallet for a few months now, and it's actually replaced my normal wallet. It's really slim and quite functional to hold your cards and cash, and is less of an advertisement to pickpockets. It comes with RFID blocking, which is getting more and more important in today's day and age. It holds up to 12 different cards, and you have a cool money clip for cash. It comes in up to 30 different colors and styles, and comes with 40,000 5-star reviews. It also has a lifetime warranty, so if you or someone you know is looking for a new wallet, check out the link in the description. Also, using the code word DIRTY not only supports the channel, but gets you 10% off. We'll start this video by analysing the information that we got from Take-Two Interactive's investor call meeting, where again they get to boast the huge Red Dead Redemption 2 sales, selling 39 million copies to date. The dates shown here are in Take-Two's fiscal years, which are a little different than normal years, but over the last real year, Rockstar has been selling about 1 million copies per quarter, which is pretty respectable. That means year to date, Red Dead Redemption 2 has sold 39 million copies. If we are to compare that to Red Dead Redemption 1, it sold 23 million copies, for a combined total of 61 million copies. That is a hugely successful video game franchise. So you'd think Red Dead Online should be hugely successful as well. I mean, first of all, it comes free with the base game of Red Dead Redemption 2, and they've also made it available as a standalone option for purchase. So, how many copies of the Red Dead standalone have they purchased? Well, we don't know. They don't publish those sales figures in their investor relations call. So what do they actually tell their investors about Red Dead Online? Well, they just give broad strokes about the Blood Money as well as the Quick Draw Club content that was dropped, and say as a result of the Blood Money update, as well as an influx of new players attributable to the standalone version of Red Dead Online, we experienced a 26% increase in active players and 29% increase in new online player acquisition. They finish it by saying recurrent consumer spending in the series was also notably above expectations. Not gonna lie, that last line is so vague, like you'd want an actual concrete figure. I mean, if expectations were to earn 0 revenue from Red Dead Online and you earned $1 from Red Dead Online, well, there you go, it's notably above your expectations. Just to contrast this with how the exact same company talks about its other IP, Grand Theft Auto, after the Los Santos Tuner update, recurrent consumer spending increased 33%, which is incredible, and audience increased 11%. They also say that Rockstar's ability both to anticipate the needs of its players and respond to player feedback with its ongoing stream of high quality and engaging content. And I'm gonna say, yeah, I think that's actually bang on the money. I think with the Los Santos Tuners, it was low-hanging fruit. They knew what their audience wanted, they put it out there, and guess what? People actually wanted to buy things and people wanted to play. When it comes to an increase in 11% player base and Red Dead Online got an increase of 26% active players, I highly suspect that the reason for that is because GTA Online can hold its customers a lot longer than Red Dead Online, meaning a lot of players were probably already playing GTA Online in anticipation for the update to come out, whereas with Red Dead Online, a lot of players complain there's not enough to do, so they're probably playing other games or they've uninstalled it and will just log in to see what the new update's about. When it comes to Red Dead Online, it seems that Rockstar hasn't focused on retaining customers and really seems to try to acquire new customers. They did this with Standalone, they tried to give it away for free on Xbox Pass, and from my humble opinion, I genuinely think a business is better off focusing on their existing customers as opposed to constantly trying to acquire new players. Not only is it anywhere between 5 to 25 times more expensive than retaining an existing customer, providing a solid experience to your customer usually ends up with them promoting your games for you anyway. Sadly, there isn't a lot of information on how many people are actually playing a game at any given time out there. The only real source that we do have available to us is the Steam charts, where it'll show us the concurrent players. And if we're to look at Red Dead Online's concurrent players, we can see that it is essentially hemorrhaging players. The Blood Money update, which was brought in July, did bring some interest back into the game, but they lost more players than they actually won back. I actually liked the update, but that said, my expectations for the update weren't that high. And that goes back to my earlier point of expectations are subjective. For some people, they wanted property, they wanted new roles, they wanted a lot more things, and they just didn't get it provided. So when you look back at the figures from the investor call and they say a 26% increase in active players and 29% increase in new online player acquisitions, yeah, it sounds good to an investor. But when your player base is at an all-time low, a small jump is going to have a big jump in percentage. In reality though, since December 2020, Red Dead Online's active player base on Steam is down 75%. It's hard to know if this would be representative of all platforms because PC is notorious for modders and makes the environment a horrible place to play. So maybe people are just leaving because they're sick of the modding situation. In any case though, that is a very strong, steady decline in a player base. To get a better idea of where Red Dead Online might be going, I think it's important to understand how Red Dead Online has evolved since its release. When Red Dead Online did launch, it launched in beta on November 27, 2018. It had a lot of bugs and was definitely not the easiest to play. Rockstar quickly put up a patch on December 11 to try to address some of these bugs. Then the following year in January they released Gunrush, which could have been fun if they could control the teaming. February saw them address a lot of issues and really listen to the community. We also got the daily challenges in that update, which was probably the best way to retain customers. We then got another small title update in March, followed by one in May, which gave us Mrs. Leclerc's story mission continuations and officially brought Red Dead Online out of beta. It was still riddled with bugs. Another small update to finish off May, and then probably the best update we've ever got, Frontier Pursuit. There was still a lot of bugs in the game, but it actually felt like Red Dead Online was going somewhere. They had a plan, and we could see it getting better. We even got the legendary bounties the same month that year. In November, it was released on PC, which brought in a lot of new players as well as modders. The Moonshiner role was dropped in December, which was okay, a bit broken, and was released the day before GTA Casino Heist, meaning a lot of players just played that. It wasn't really until January players started coming back to even try out the Moonshine role, a horrible misstep in project management, but they spent January and March fixing bugs and trying to get the game playable. In July they released the Naturalist role, which a lot of people didn't like. I thought it was okay as I really enjoyed the legendary animals they added. It was also the most stable the game had ever been in its life until they added patch 1.21, which completely broke the game and they actually had to roll the patch back in 1.22. The title update 1.23 included the Halloween update. Players were already a little disappointed from the Naturalist role, so when we got a small little bounty hunter update in December, people started to lose faith. It was then a long time up till July until we got another update, and a lot of players were waiting for a big update. They've been waiting for a big update since Frontier Pursuits, and it just wasn't delivered. I personally liked the Blood Money update as well as the Bounty Hunter update, but there's no denying that these updates are getting much smaller. When I laid it out by year, it really put it into perspective. Everyone knows that we were getting less updates less frequently, but just seeing it visually really made it hit home. Of course, there is a good reason that there might be less frequent updates on during 2020 as many people were working from home, but if you compare this to other game developers, they were still putting out content and they were still engaging with their community, which Rockstar just wasn't. I do think that the Blood Money update was better paced with releasing the content. It gave active players a reason to log in and play the game instead of just waiting 6 months for another update. And as a regular player, I enjoyed getting more content in Red Dead Online, so I liked the Blood Money update. But this wasn't good enough to entice a lot of the players that had left previously. Damage has been done. And to be honest, to get those players back, you need something big. And despite me liking the update, this wasn't a big update. The general consensus in Red Dead Online, I see it in a lot of comments all over the place, is Rockstar doesn't care. And I don't think that's true. Rockstar wants this to be a success, they want to make it profitable, I just don't think they know how. And it's poorly managed. We all know there's been some high profile changes at Rockstar Studios, and sometimes I do get concerned on whether or not this is still the same company. There could have been a lot of internal changes that we didn't see that have a knock-on effect on the kind of quality and the direction that the games are going. I mean, they used to actually engage with the community a lot more even a few years ago when they used to have live streams. They even live streamed Red Dead Online for a bit. Engaging with their community, having a bit of fun with content creators, pretty basic stuff for a community manager to do, but we haven't seen any of that in so long. Maybe it's because in their last streams they brought on some dude that couldn't hold his liquor and kind of derailed the whole live stream, or maybe it's because they had modders that were just infesting their streams. In any case, that has not happened since then. Usually a game developer will have one or two community managers to go out there and engage with the community, and it looks like Rockstar just doesn't have one at the moment. Maybe they're between people, but this definitely has an effect on the community and whether or not a community is thriving or dying. And this community and interest in the game has been on a downward trajectory. If you're new to the game, this probably doesn't make sense to you because you're like, this game is awesome, and it is. It's a lot of fun at the start when you're playing it, but you will come to a point where you're just not getting enough new content to keep you engaged. And most of that content that the new players really like was actually added back in 2019, so there has been a long time for something good to come along. It's also important to understand that my perspective is coming from someone that has actually been playing since the beta, so if you're new to the game and you're really enjoying it, that is actually brilliant, and I hope you enjoy it for a lot longer. This video is really just made to kind of understand where Red Dead Online might be going. And to do this, we did look back at all the history of the DLCs to see if they were getting bigger or smaller. We did our best to get an idea of the active player base by looking at the Steam figures, and we also had a look at the earning calls just to get an idea of what they were saying to their investors. And to be quite frank, I don't think it is in good shape for Red Dead Online. I was saying back at the start of the year that they really needed to knock something really good for that Blood Money update, and I just think they dropped the ball on it. Didn't meet the expectations of a large amount of the player base, and although they could come out with a really amazing December update, I just think it's going to be another small update. Maybe another 10 levels on top of an existing role, a small bit of clothing, and maybe some festive game modes to hold people over for the Christmas, and of course snow. And I am a fan of Red Dead Online, so I will like all of these things. It'll be nice to log in to get these, but a lot of people are not going to like this, and the player base will drop down a bit more. I've no reason to suspect that this trend will change in 2022, but the truth is, unless Rockstar invests a lot more people and money into developing really good content, they're not going to bring back a lot of the player base they're losing. Even if 2022 isn't going to be that kind to Red Dead Online, I'll still going to enjoy playing, and if it is on its way out, well, I'll just ride off into the sunset with it. And these are just my thoughts and opinions. I don't know if these are right or wrong, but what I'd really like to know is, what are your thoughts? How do you think Red Dead Online has been handled? What do you think the future of Red Dead Online is? And if you were in charge of Red Dead Online, what would you do for it? As always, massive thanks to everyone who supports this channel. Also thanks to Ridge Wallet for sponsoring this video. Again, code word dirty gets you 10% off. And as well, a massive thanks to all the members of this channel. You guys are awesome. Okay people, catch you in the next video.